From the Russ Center for Media in downtown Cape Girardeau, welcome to Focus on Southeast, a program on issues, events, and people impacting Southeast Missouri State University. I'm Dan Woods with KRCU Public Radio. On today's show, we're spending time with SEMO President Dr. Carlos Vargas. We'll be talking about some new partnerships, construction updates, enrollment, and much more. Dr. Vargas, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be back.
Good to see you. So
Thank you.
We have lots to talk about. Like I told you before we taped, we'll probably run out of time, right?
Yes.
But we'll get as much done as we can.
Okay.
Let's start with partnerships and this LECOM Mercy partnership. That sounds pretty exciting.
It really is, and it is a culmination of a number of years trying to figure out how to bring in an opportunity here for students to go to medical school that come to the university here, and that's what happened. So the arrival of Mercy here, and they put us in contact with LECOM, the Lake Erie College of Osteopathic Medicine, and LECOM reacted very promptly to our expression of interest. LECOM specializes and focuses on working with institutions that are rural, and so we fit that characteristic very well. And so we now have an opportunity for our students to really, we're part of the early acceptance program for LECOM. And so our students can actually apply before they finish their undergraduate degree to the LECOM programs.
Okay.
And then as long as they maintain a certain performance academically, they can actually go into medical school. And so the idea would be that students who get admitted to it, they would spend 2 years or so at the LECOM facility and then do some of the extra 2 years back here, being mentored by physicians in the area here. And it is known that medical students who actually do that, they tend to remain in the community that they do those experiences much more frequently than when they are not from here. So,
and so Mercy is going to become sort of a teaching hospital right here in our community, educating students, right?
Their physicians would become preceptors for our students, and so that is absolutely fantastic. And we're so pleased that Mercy considered this opportunity and invited us to participate in this kind of program. So we're very excited, and the opportunities we're having with LECOM now, we can actually have our students can apply to medical school. So essentially a DO, Doctor of Osteopathic, is one of them. But then they can also apply to dental school. They can apply to pharmacy school, and also to podiatry school. So there are 4 different areas where students can actually go into that are part of the LECOM curriculum.
Open several doors, several opportunities for students.
Yes, and there are all kinds of options here right now. So we now know that, for example, a student can be as a junior. This fall, for example, they can apply already to a program, LECOM. They are a junior, so they can go there and do 1 more year and then get a master's degree at LECOM, and then reverse transfer those credits for SEMO. So they end up, after 1 year, being a junior, and 1 more year, they end up with a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. And then they can apply to medical school. So that master's degree really enhances their chances of really being admitted to graduate. So that's not the early acceptance program. These are students that are juniors that can actually do that. Now, we do have the early acceptance program, which means the students can apply to LECOM, be admitted, and as long as they maintain a certain performance, then we have been given a specific number of seats for medical school, so that they can actually be assured that they will be in medical school once they finish their undergraduate degree here. It's very, very exciting. This is something that the community has been asking us to do for a number of years. Ever since I arrived, it took a little bit of time, but now it's done. And so I think we're becoming a very, very attractive institution for those students.
That's great. Well, I want to talk about the SEMO Educators Advantage. I've seen a lot of releases coming out about this from the university. This sounds like a really growing and robust program, and it's just really getting started.
It is getting started. There's been a lot of interest in the part of school systems. We started with Cape Schools and Jackson Schools becoming part of this effort. And so this essentially consists of giving the university giving a 20% discount for staff or faculty in those school systems. And as a result of that, they have access to our online undergraduate and graduate programs, and also to the paraprofessional programs for preparation of teachers. So we're very excited, and we didn't realize when we first went into this how exciting it was going to be and interesting it was going to be for the school systems. But we received a multitude of requests and all that. So right now, so far, we have 9 school systems already that have signed an agreement with us, and there are more coming. And we are very pleased. I'm personally very pleased because this is really an evidence of how we really are contributing to the preparation of teachers in our region. And you know, there's a scarcity of teachers, and so this is being welcomed by the school systems, and we are very pleased to be able to be satisfying this need that exists actually not only in our region but actually beyond in the state of Missouri. And so we're excited about being able to do this.
So is for this program, does the university contact schools, or is there somebody kind of coordinating some sort of contact or outreach to them?
Yes, because of the level of interest that we observe, we immediately hired somebody who is a retired superintendent who is actually now focusing on working with the school systems to answer questions that they may have so they understand how the program works. And that really has been very successful. I've been visiting schools to sign the agreements with them. And so, you know, I enjoy the idea of visiting and going there and getting to know the school, talking to the superintendent, the principals, and just seeing the students there. Actually, I enjoy that tremendously when I go visit school to do a signing ceremony, and then we get to talk to the students. So it's a very exciting opportunity.
It just sort of makes sense for the university that serves this region and all the counties in this part of southeast Missouri to develop partnerships and those kind of things with these schools. I mean, it's just a natural pipeline for students and for faculty and for the teachers. I mean, it's just a win-win-win for everybody, right?
It is, and you know, historically the university has provided teachers, prepared teachers for the region. This really just strengthens our position as being a provider of teachers, and providing also teachers with an opportunity to further their credentials, which also has an economic benefit for them. But then the school systems have told us literally, we want your programs, we want our faculty staff to really be in your programs because of the high quality that you deliver. And that's a recognition, a validation of some of the work that our faculty do. So that's fantastic.
Yeah. Well, let's pause for a moment. When we come back, I want to talk about enrollment when we come back. We're talking to Dr. Vargas. We'll continue our conversation in just a moment on Focus on Southeast. We'll be right back.
Losing the fear of looking foolish comes with age.
Who did you steal him from?
Losing your way in your own home doesn't. Confusion with time and place may be a sign of Alzheimer's.
Mom, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine.
Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's.
Welcome back to Focus on Southeast. We're spending time today with SEMO President Dr. Carlos Vargas. So I'd like to shift gears and talk about enrollment a little bit. A lot of numbers to sort of share, but there's some really good trends that we're seeing for this fall, right?
Right. We are very pleased with the numbers that we have been able to achieve this year, this academic year. I mean, overall, this is a great year in terms of our freshman enrollment. We were able to grow by about 7% the number of students coming into from high school directly, and that's been a challenge for us, and so that's beautiful. Our transfer students also grew by about 7%. I mean, that in particular is very good because community colleges, which is where many of our transfers come from, had been down in enrollment. Now, right now, we're still in the process of seeing changes in the pattern of enrollment, but we've been trying really hard at the university to put in place processes that allow us to maximize the sort of the enrollment of students that are coming from high school and other areas. So our online enrollment grew up by 5%. Our international student enrollment grew by 8%. Our dual credit enrollment, now we have about 1,500 high school students taking dual credit.
Yeah.
Those are all numbers. Even though our total enrollment went down by 2% or thereabouts, our subgroups of students, you know, the incoming freshmen, the transfers, the international, the graduate student population, the online, they're growing. So we're losing some students that are already here, and that's how the decrease comes about. We're trying to combat that by communicating how important it is and valuable it is for them to stay the course and to really continue their studies, because it's a preparation that will become very obvious for them how beneficial it is just down the road. It's just not something that they notice immediately, but what we're trying to communicate to the students and the parents is this is an investment. It truly is an investment that they're making in their education, which will eventually result in a better financial position. But also, students, it's known that students who go to college, get a college degree, they tend to be healthier, they tend to be making better decisions, they develop friendships, more effectively in some ways, they are healthier. Just overall, there's a number of benefits that they have that we are definitely trying to communicate to them.
So you've been in higher education for many, many years. Is it more competitive now, or is it going to become more and more challenging? I mean, the numbers are good on these subgroups, like you said, but is it getting more competitive, there have to be more ways to attract students than maybe there used to be, or different strategies?
We are having to modify our strategy. The way I present it is that a few decades ago, 30 years ago or so, at the admissions office, behind every student in the line, there was another one. And so it was like we dictated what we offered, we dictated how we offered it, and so that's just changed totally. So now the students are the ones that are saying, this is what I want and this is what I need. So we need to adapt our strategies, and we need to be a flexible institution and not just say, this is what we offer, take it or leave it. We need to become flexible so that we respond to the needs of the students and the families. And that's what we're doing. We have been very, very essentially aggressive in developing programs that are flexible and accessible to the students and make them relevant. We don't want to continue to have programs that are no longer relevant for the students. We need to make them, we need to have programs that are going to make our students competitive in the marketplace.
Do you find that the student, the programs they ask for and are requesting, how do those line up with workforce needs? Like what businesses are asking for? Do those sort of merge together? Are you seeing those come together?
To a large degree, they do. To a large degree, they do, because students and their parents are becoming savvier in terms of identifying the programs that are in demand. And that tied with the fact that we also are looking at that, and we're developing programs to make them be interesting for the students. So our flight program that we established just 4 years ago has been very successful, and we're developing new programs all the time. So we have a program in geographic information sciences, unmanned aircraft systems or drones. We have computer science master's degree. We have a number of programs that are very relevant to the students these days. And so that, and then tie that with the fact that the students themselves and the parents are looking out there and seeing what do you have. So our business college is now the College of Business and Computing, because we put the computer science department in it. And so now our cybersecurity program is there, and so it's a program that students are really flocking to because there's so much demand for people with talents in that area.
One more thing I want to ask before we take a break is the 6-year graduation rate. That's something you talked about early on when we started doing these shows. How's that looking now?
It is looking wonderfully. For somebody who's not in higher education, to hear what the percent of graduates we have in the 6-year is not impressive enough. But the reality is, when you understand how that's measured and what all the different changes that take place for a student that comes in, it really is quite impressive. The average graduation rate for the at the national level is 50%. Ours is 56%. So an institution like ours normally wouldn't be expected to do as well as we do. And then again, the graduation rate is measured in ways that I don't want to necessarily go into here because it's complicated. But it does reflect the fact that we are higher than the national average is very, very important. And so that just shows that we have the ability to help students graduate. We don't just keep them here and for years and years and years. They come here and then they graduate. Many of them graduate in 4 years. Some of them even in less than 4 years. But on the average, there are many reasons why students take longer. Sometimes they change majors, sometimes they take a year off. There's a number of different reasons. The fact that our graduation rate is 56% is something we should be proud of, and the community should be proud of.
Okay. Well, let's pause again. When we come back, I want to talk about the modern campus update and some of that information. So we'll take a short break. We're talking with Dr. Vargas on Focus on Southeast. We will be right back.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing that keeps us focused.
A habit we never skip to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game, to drown out that self-doubt and support your mental health? Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and your mental health.
Discover the resources that you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
Welcome back to Focus on Southeast. We're spending time today with Southeast President Dr. Carlos Vargas, and let's quickly spend some time on the modern campus update. A lot of moving parts in that in the modern campus, right? A lot.
Many moving parts, and some of them not moving fast enough, but definitely they're shifting all the time, and so we're actively trying to make sure that we figure out where they are to move forward. So the Modern Campus project is a really exciting development at the university. So without going into a lot of details about it, right now we are very excited about being part of that Modern Campus effort. Initiative is the Health Sciences building that we are in the process of we're coming to an end of the beginning. And so what that means is we actually are going to be building where Dearmont is, that residence hall. We're going to demolish it and we're going to build a 55,000 square feet facility for the Department of Kinesiology and Sports Sciences. And so what we want to do there is to, and by the way, the funding for that came partly from the state and partly from the federal government. So Senator Roy Blunt, U.S. former senator, helped us get $10 million for that building, and then $18.5 million came from the state. So it's roughly a $30 million project, and we're going to have there the opportunity to build this. Actually, the department formally is called the Department of Allied Health, Kinesiology, and Sports Sciences. And we're going to have state-of-the-art facilities there. Some of the programs that are going to be there came from Parker. Parker is not in a very good place anymore, structurally speaking. And so that's a project that we were hoping to have it finished by fall of 2026, but we've been working on some details to make sure that we satisfy all the expectations for how the project is going to move forward. Dealing with the federal government and the state, we need to make sure that everybody is satisfied with what we're doing. And so we're hoping that by 2027, that building is going to be inaugurated and be able to be used for that. So that's one part of the sort of the Modern Campus project that we have going on right now.
Let's talk a little about the Houck multipurpose project. Is that the building that's going to be where the field house is now? Is that, or is that something separate?
That is separate. So the field house essentially wouldn't really be touched at this point.
Okay.
So that structure is going to be placed essentially behind the south side seats, right? So it's going to be separate from it, but it's going to be there. And it's going to be a 6-floor structure. And then there's going to be a number of different levels, and that's going to have lockers, that's going to have offices, there's going to have venues for events. And at the top, in the 5th floor, we're going to have a press box which is going to be giving us an opportunity to have to host actually games, some like we are going to be doing this fall semester. So it's wonderful. It's also going to be fairly expensive, another multi-million-dollar project, but we're excited about that.
Yeah. Let's talk a little about, let's shift gears. Let's do future, SEMO's future. Aviation is one. You mentioned it a little bit, but this aviation program has just really taken off and soared, right?
It took off. It's almost like a space shuttle, right? Took off very quickly, very quickly, and we are absolutely delighted with that. So we continue to support them. It's one of those programs that are relevant for people now, for students now.
Right.
It's an expensive program because it requires, flight hours and paying for the flight instructors and all that. So, but it is going forward very well. So we actually have already 3 programs that are closely allied with aviation. One of them, of course, is the professional pilot. Another one is the unmanned aircraft systems, which are drones. That's also associated with that. And then the third one is aviation management. So we have a program, a 4-year degree in aviation management, which essentially prepares individuals who are going to be working in the aviation industry, but not necessarily flying.
Okay.
So it could be administrators for an airport or work with a company that moves cargo around. There's a lot of different areas in which those individuals can operate. And we are actually in the process of developing new programs. So air traffic controllers is another area that is extremely in extremely high demand. And we are right now already taking steps to make sure that we put together a program to be given to our board for approval, for consideration and approval, and eventually be approved by the FAA. So that, and then you've heard me talk about the airframe and power plant, which is A&P program, which essentially produces aviation mechanics. That's another area that is in very high demand. So we're really in a position where we are going to be the destination university for aviation-related programs in Missouri. and we need to continue that because we are creating a niche, just like we have a niche in other areas, such as like visual and performing arts, computer science, business, education, certainly. So we are really a comprehensive institution that has all these programs that are relevant for the students.
So we got 2 minutes. So the last thing I want to get to is the STAMP Cyber Command Center.
Yes.
That's a cool addition to the campus for sure.
Another multi-million-dollar project that has been was the result of support by the state and also by a private donor, Charlie Stamp, and it's a wonderful thing. It's the only facility west of the Mississippi in the U.S. at this point, and so that we are so excited.
Yeah.
IBM, who we worked with to put this facility in place. Is very happy. They're helping us promote it. We have already visits scheduled with institutions that want to use the facility. So we are absolutely at the forefront of this development. So we're going to be able to provide training for our students and their academic programs and also for the community so that they understand what they need to do to make sure that they minimize the chances of being exposed to a cyber attack. It's just really impressive what we have there. So the community, the university, we all should feel very proud of the fact that we have been able to achieve this thanks to the state through a More Excels grant and also to a donor who was visionary enough to give us some funding to help build that facility.
And that's another area that's in the workforce development for the area, and businesses are looking for folks who...
Talk about people who are needed out there with talent in cybersecurity. It's incredible, yes.
We covered a lot. We're out of time, but I think we covered a lot of good information. Don't you think, Dr. Vargas?
I'm wonderful. I'm happy. Thank you very much.
It's
wonderful.
Good seeing you again.
Thank you.
Focus on Southeast is a collaboration of KRCU Public Radio and the Department of Mass Media here at Southeast Missouri State University. Just a reminder that portions of these conversations will be broadcast on KRCU. They'll also be available online at krcu.org and on the station's YouTube channel. From the Russ Center for Media, I'm Dan Woods. Thanks for watching. Be sure to tune in next time when we focus on Southeast.